Okay, here's the short, clear update you need up front. Trevon Diggs was unexpectedly added to the Cowboys injury report with a knee concern, and initially listed as questionable, which made a lot of fans nervous, but he then went through a pre-game workout and pushed through to be cleared to suit up, at least for this matchup. That quick sequence, added to the injury report, labeled questionable, then activated after a 25-minute pre-game session, is exactly the kind of gray area NFL stuff that leaves you on edge if you're a Cowboys fan, because it's hard to know whether he's actually at full strength or if he's playing through something that will limit him or make him an easier target for the opposing offense. Right now, what you should take away is this. The team's medical staff and coaching staff think he can play, and the fact he completed that pre-game work is an encouraging sign, but questionable to active doesn't always mean 100%. So mentally prepare for limited snaps or a game plan that hides him a bit while keeping him on the field. I want you to tell me in the comments, do you want Diggs on the field even if he's limited? Yes or no? And why? Also, if you want the fastest updates like this and a deeper breakdown after the game, smash that subscribe button and help us get to 16,000 subs so we can bring you more timely Cowboys news and analysis. Hit like too if you want a post-game follow-up focus strictly on his snaps and performance. For now, stay locked in. We'll dig into the medical context, how the Cowboys might scheme around any limitation, and what this means for the secondary depth in the next section. The thing with this kind of late injury report change is that it really forces you to think about how the Cowboys handle communication and risk when it comes to star players. Trevon Diggs showing up on the injury list with a knee issue right before the game wasn't just random. Teams don't add names like that unless something surfaced, in practice, a walkthrough, or in how the player felt afterward. Once that knee concern came up, the staff had no choice but to tag him as questionable, and that single word creates a wave of speculation because it means his availability was a true 50-50 call. What changed the picture was the pre-game workout. He went out on the field, went through a roughly 25-minute routine, tested his movement, cuts, and reaction speed, and the medical staff decided he could play. That tells us the knee isn't unstable, but it doesn't mean it's completely fine either. A player can clear a workout and still feel soreness or tightness once the game speed ramps up. This is where you have to remember his history. Diggs is only recently back after tearing his ACL, which wiped out his season before, so any knee-related note is going to get extra attention. Cowboys fans know what he means to the defense. He's not just another corner, he's a difference maker. And when he's not out there, the entire defensive backfield shifts roles. The medical staff knows that too, which is why they test so carefully. A questionable tag followed by clearance after a workout usually signals the issue is minor, like swelling, soreness, or a flare-up from practice, but the real risk is aggravation. Sometimes the coaching staff will let a player suit up, but they'll monitor the snap count, use more rotations, or shift coverage to reduce strain on that specific knee. The larger point is this. Fans should expect Diggs to play, but maybe not at his usual snap load, and you should definitely keep an eye on whether he shadows top receivers or if Dallas uses him more in zone to reduce stress. I want to hear what you think. Should the Cowboys have taken the cautious route and given him a rest week, or do you like the idea of getting him on the field whenever possible? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments. And if you want to wish him a fast recovery, type the word heal down there too. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and help us reach our goal of 16,000 supporters, because that way you'll be the first to know how Diggs' situation evolves in real time. Next, let's turn from the medical and historical side to the actual X's and O's, what his presence or absence means in the matchup against Chicago, and how the Cowboys might adapt their coverage schemes. When you look at the actual matchup against Chicago, Trevon Diggs' status isn't just a headline. It changes how the Cowboys have to call the game. If he's out there and close to full speed, Dan Quinn can stick to his usual plan of letting Diggs shadow one side or match up against the Bears' top target, which keeps the rest of the secondary in their normal lanes. But if Diggs is limited, or if the team decides to rotate him, suddenly you're looking at adjustments that ripple through the defense. The first question becomes, who steps in for those critical snaps? Darren Bland has been solid and can handle an outside role, but moving him around affects the slot coverage. Jordan Lewis is experienced, but not the same shutdown type, and if Dallas elevates depth pieces, you start to feel the gap between Pro Bowl caliber and replacement level. Chicago's passing game isn't elite, but it's opportunistic. Their young receivers thrive on finding mismatches, and if they see Diggs hobbling or notice Dallas protecting him in zone looks, you better believe they'll test that side. That's where the coaching staff has to be. Creative. You might see more safety help shaded over, disguised coverages designed to funnel throws into traffic, or blitz packages that hurry the quarterback before he can exploit a one-on-one matchup. If Diggs is at 80%, Dallas might use him as more of a bait corner, showing his usual alignment but making sure there's support behind him. That kind of tactical adjustment keeps the opponent guessing, but it also highlights how much stress is on the defensive scheme whenever your best cover man isn't completely healthy. For you as a fan, the thing to watch during the game is alignment. Does Diggs stay in his normal role, shadowing the top Bears receiver, or does he stick mostly to one side with safety help? Do you see Bland flipping outside more often, or Lewis playing extended snaps? These little tells give you insight into how healthy the Cowboys believe Diggs really is. And remember, the Bears' offense will test it quickly. A smart quarterback doesn't waste time probing when he spots a weakened link. Here's where I want your input. If Diggs can't go a full load, who do you trust more for extra snaps? Kaiir Elam, Reddy Stewart, or do you think Dallas needs to elevate someone else entirely? Drop your choice in the comments. While you're at it, hit like if you're enjoying the breakdown, because the more likes we get, the further we push Cowboys Nation's voice out there. And if you're not subscribed yet, join in now to help us reach 16,000. Every click gets us closer to being the go-to spot for daily Cowboys coverage. Coming up, we'll step back and look at the bigger picture, what it means if Diggs' health continues to be a question throughout the season, and how the Cowboys' playoff hopes tie directly into keeping him on the field. Here's the reality, and it's one every Cowboys fan knows deep down. When Trevon Diggs is on the field and close to full health, this defense feels like it can dominate anyone. But when his availability is clouded by questions, even small ones like this late knee report, it exposes just how fragile depth can be at one of the most important positions in football. Dallas built its defensive identity around the idea that Diggs and Darren Bland can lock down the outside, freeing up Micah Parsons and the pass rush to tee off without worrying that the secondary will crack. Take one of those pieces away, and suddenly it's a different puzzle. The reason this is so concerning isn't just about the Bears' game. It's about the long arc of the season. Diggs has already been through a major knee injury with the ACL tear, and while this new flare-up doesn't sound like the same severity, every time his name appears on the injury report, it forces you to wonder about durability. The Cowboys have to weigh short-term impact against long-term risk. Playing him when he's sore or swollen might get you through one Sunday, but it could cost you down the line if something worsens. That's a balance between doctors, coaches, and Diggs himself, but ultimately the team's playoff hopes are riding on keeping him upright and effective. So let's look ahead. If Diggs is limited, can this defense still carry Dallas deep into January? The answer is yes, but it becomes a lot harder. Bland has proven he can be a playmaker, but asking him to shoulder the #1 role all season is a gamble. Jordan Lewis and depth pieces can cover spots, but they don't strike fear into opposing quarterbacks. Opponents will scheme to isolate whoever isn't Diggs and attack relentlessly. That means Quinn has to lean even more on his front seven, disguising blitzes, forcing turnovers, and making sure pressure gets home. It's a doable formula, but it's not as sustainable as simply having your top corner healthy. Fans also have to consider the front office angle. If Diggs' health keeps coming up, do the Cowboys look to bring in another veteran corner down the stretch, either via trade or free agency? That kind of move might seem aggressive, but Dallas has already shown it's willing to shuffle the roster to chase wins. Keeping playoff seeding alive might force their hand if Diggs is battling ongoing issues. And if that happens, it will be another reminder of just how much weight he carries in the defensive structure. Now, here's where I want to bring you in. If Diggs ends up missing more time this season, do you still believe the Cowboys can make a deep playoff run? Drop a yes or no in the comments. I want to see how confident Cowboys Nation really is when faced with that possibility. Also, let me say this clearly. Your support drives this channel forward. Hitting subscribe right now helps us chase the milestone of 16,000 subscribers, and smashing that like button spreads this video to even more fans who need the latest Cowboys news. Together, we can keep this community the best home for Cowboys talk on YouTube. So as we close out this discussion, remember the key point. Trevon Diggs suiting up after that. Late injury report is a good sign, but the bigger story is about how Dallas manages him for the marathon ahead. Whether it's resting him in spots, adjusting coverage schemes, or even making moves to reinforce depth, the Cowboys' entire defensive confidence rides on his knee holding up. That's the truth of the NFL. One player's health can tilt the balance of a whole season.